Hello, amazing people.
Hi, folks.
Hello, how are we all doing?
Good.
How are you guys doing? Hope you're feeling good, feeling funky and feeling fresh. Welcome to another rendition of the show we like to call The Receipt Podcast, The Writings on the Wall.
What the science is.
Also one of the best albums ever by Destiny's Child.
It is.
And I don't mean R&B album, I just mean genuinely one of the best albums ever.
I love
The Writings on the Wall. 10-10, no misses. Mm-hmm. It's your girl, Toddy T.
And just call me Audrey.
First thing I would like to address.
Oh.
I know I came on this podcast a couple of weeks ago, letting you guys know how I was not far off an Olympian swimmer's length time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we found out that was not true because, I didn't time it right. But just a little update on my swimming lessons. It is kicking my fucking ass.
Ooh, child.
Now, when I was doing it, when I was going in, I was in the water, doing well, it was doing front stroke. Mm. Is it called front stroke? Front stroke. That's what I'm going to call it. The one where your hands go over like that. Front stroke. Funk fall. Oh. I don't know why it's called a funk fall. Anyway, now I've decided that I actually would like to learn breaststroke.
Breaststroke is that one, isn't it?
It's that one, yeah. And the reason why I want to learn breaststroke is because when people swim breaststroke, it looks so just leisurely. They're just having a good time, swimming away, having fun. And that's what I want to look like when I'm swimming. For the longest time, the reason why I didn't like swimming is because I thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was so apparent that I was trying to stay alive. When you're in the water, when you watch people swim, you can just see that they're really trying to stay alive. Like, that's so, yeah. You go off on the side and then go back in and like, what?
We don't have to do this.
You put yourself in a situation where you have to fight for your life. That's why I didn't like what someone was doing. So breaststroke looks more like, I'm just having a good time. I'm not actively trying to stay alive. It's just fun. I'm just casually doing this thing. It is so hard.
Listen, swimming in general looks very hard to me.
It is. I just cannot get it. Oh. Like there is like a rhythm to it. You do your arms and then the leg is like, you kick up to your knees, put your foot to the side and then splash back out. And I thought I was getting it. I thought I was in the water. I thought I was doing left. I stood up exactly where I started. I thought I was going to look back. I stood back up exactly where I started. I hate it now. And because I'm not good at it, it's making me want to stop swimming. And I won't.
No, you've got this.
I'll carry on doing it. I've been watching YouTube videos about how to do it. So I will learn it. But it's fucking me off.
It looks, listen, I agree. The fact that people make it look so effortless and like floaty, like literally, so when I see people just like in their nice bikinis and they're just like going back like that and they just make it look so sensual, and it's just like, if that were me, I'd literally, the gravity, I'd be on the floor like a stone dropping.
I couldn't really accept that I couldn't do it, so much so I started Googling. I was just like, is it hard for black people to breaststroke? I had to make it a general thing. I couldn't accept that maybe it's just something I can't do. I started thinking maybe it's the bone density in my black body that then means I'm now heavier, so that I'm now sinking to the bottom. Like I was like, maybe black people just can't breaststroke. Of course they can. And I was getting so frustrated. My instructor was like, "Oh, you're not a patient person." I was like, can you tell? I was so pissed off. But hey, we keep going. We keep persevering. If at first you don't exceed, you try. Yeah,
keep trying again. Like
until
Sister Leah said,
you succeed.
Dust yourself off and try again. I totally agree. I'm going to start my swimming lessons very soon.
Yeah,
it's in the works, like literally in the next couple of weeks. And you know what? Yeah, I was low key scared because obviously I really want Anaya to swim. I don't want her to be like me, and I was scared that my mum was going to be like completely against her swimming and be like, wait till she's 5 before she learns she's too young. But my mum was actually like, when are you going to book her in for swimming lessons? So that's made me feel so much more like, maybe I need to unpack this in therapy, but my mum's approval about everything I do in my life, like really means a lot. Like I obviously have autonomy over my body and I do what I want, and my mum actually cannot beat me. But when she gives me the go, it feels extra nice, when it just feels like an extra cushion of support when she actually backs it. So I think, I just rate her, clearly. I rate her validation in some way, shape or form. But yeah, I say all of that to say I'm going to start swimming with Anaya in a couple of weeks. So we're working on it.
Stay tuned. Swimming with your child, have you seen the online debate? Oh, maybe you missed this. This is normally in your field of online territory.
Sounds like a bit of me.
I think this question's come up before where if you were on a boat or something with your husband and the child, and
God.
someone was about to die and you could only save one, would you save the husband and the child?
Ooh.
Now, this black woman has come up and she's quotes Bible. She talks about some, like, you know, she's saving her husband.
Okay.
She's saying she's saving her husband, blah, 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 blah. Now.
Oh, does she get lashings?
Of course she got lashes, because people are like, why would you pick your man over the baby? I put that question to you, Audrey. God forbid.
God forbid.
You're in a boat with Anaya and Nick.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because there's no point in me speaking about it, because it's hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
And you could only save one person.
I'm not going to lie, yeah. The logic, I don't know what would happen in such desperate circumstances.
But thinking logically outside
But I think logically, my first thing would be, that is a 6 foot something man. The fuck am I doing at 5'4" trying to save his ass? If you ain't dropped down and let us both lay on you, right? If you ain't let me get my 17-month-old,
if you don't drop down and die, and make sure this boat doesn't collapse.
If you don't lay like a plank so that we can climb up on you and get back up on this boat, fam, no. I think, yeah, I think my instinct would be to go and help the poorest.
I think instinctively you're going to have a child.
Yeah, I think
instinctively you're going to help, especially your child.
Because that reminds me, you remember, like, have you seen iRobot?
No.
I quote that film often because I love that film and it was very much ahead of its time, right? But one of the reasons why Will Smith hates the robot community so much, yeah, is because they were put in a situation where there was him and a child in a car crash, and then the robot was programmed to save him because of whatever sort of like metrics that the robot used, but the logical answer for the robot was to save him. But him as a human, his empathy was for the child. So he grew like this really deep rooted hatred for robots and everything they stood for, basically. But I do think that we are like wired to protect people that are more innocent than ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that like I necessarily value Nick's life any less. It's just that in that situation, who's more helpless? I would like to think that I would lean into that line of thinking. But then I think some people might snap and just be like, damn, who do I love more? And some people, do you know what I mean? Like some people, that might be their line of like judgment. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I guess when you're in desperate situations like that, you don't.
There are so many funny jokes I want to make, but I'm not talking to the right audience.
Yeah, the people that them are sensitive these days.
So unfortunate. I've got jokes on Jack. In this dating economy, baby. So many jokes, but I'm just aware.
She jokes, she kids.
I kid.
My God.
The kid.
But yeah, pick the kid. But I think that's where my mind would go. Because I would just be like, you are closer to the bottom.
Like, I'm saving the child. I just think also it's an easier thing to save than
you just scoop them. And then if I've got bare capacity left, yeah.
No, I won't go back. No, let me tell you why I won't go back.
And I'll go back for him.
I absolutely won't go back. If me and the child are free, I'm cutting. Let me tell you why. Because it's then in the going back, and then both of us will not die. Now my child is without a parent.
Yeah, it's actually true.
There's no point.
It's actually
there is absolutely no point.
It's actually very, very true.
Yep, no.
Yeah, no, because people love to get onto Rose from Titanic about that.
Because they could have both fit.
There was space on that plank, man.
But it's a film.
Damn.
But yeah, she could have slept on top of him. She couldn't try to stay.
Bro.
But where's the romance in that?
Exactly.
Where's the love story? I'm not going to rewatch it. I've not watched it.
I think it's on Netflix now.
I'm going to go rewatch it.
It's on
I've
Netflix.
not watched it in years.
I watched it recently.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched it recently.
I'm going to go back and watch it. It's been years.
Do you know what? It was the first film I went to see in the cinema with my friends.
Oh.
So it always has a special place in my heart because I remember it. South Woodford Odeon with my girls in year 7. I was in year 7, 97.
My first film was Kidulthood.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I just remember feeling so grown. I remember exactly what I was wearing. I was wearing like this turquoise-coloured Adidas jumper with these Tammy Gale jeans and then Adidas campus trainers. Obviously, they've made a comeback, but I had them when they like first... Actually, maybe they made like a couple of comebacks, but I had Adidas campus trainers and my hair in braids. And I was so gassed because the way that film was hyped up.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have that really anymore. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like you see an advert for a film and the trailer is mad and everyone gets and you can only go see it in the cinema. Now we have so many options.
It'll be available,
do you know what I mean? It's available everywhere immediately, kind of thing. But them times when Titanic first, oh my God, it was the film of the century. And so that film has a very special place in my heart.
I might go watch it again.
It's a very, consider 97, it's a very, very well-made film.
And also, it's like the soundtrack is great. You see that little old woman with her baby skin at the start. Like, yeah. You're
and
like,
Rose was a feminist. Rose was a feminist. Like, you know, she
it made me sad. Remember when they were in the bit where there were traps and you could see the water going higher? Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, it's actually so sad.
No, the saddest part is when the orchestra decide, listen, we're going down, we might as well go down to some good classical music. And they're just playing. Everyone, but it is, okay, it's not funny, yeah, but it is kind of funny because they're like, and then people are like, fighting for their lives. And like running around trying to get boats and like trying to grab their kids and they're just like,
no,
it's not funny, but I get it.
Every time I think about things and I think about zombie films, right? And people are like, I don't know if I'm someone that will fight for my life.
You just accept your fate. No, I think you would fight for your life.
Do you think I'll fight? Yeah, I probably will. But if it involves running, if fighting for your life involves
because
running,
in them zombie films, they're running for time. Like they're running through the forest. Like catch me if you can, bro. Like what the hell? And the thing is, I'm not being funny, but how do people get caught by zombies? Because they're mad slow.
Have you met one before?
They're like,
have you and one raced together before?
I'll be out. Listen, I ran for district. I'll be gone. But yeah, zombies are hella slow. I don't know, but God forbid, I don't ever want to find out. But do you know what? Yeah, I got my donor card through the post.
Wait, when did they start giving out the cards?
No, I signed up.
Everybody signed up. You have to opt out.
No, but for bone marrow.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like, so it's a bit different.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and I totally forgot I did it, and then I got the card, and I was like, because last time I went to give blood, I kind of got
blood guy, the way.
I kind of got give blood. I kind of got lashings by the guy, but I've realised that I'm quite thick-skinned in certain environments when I know that people mean well. Do you know what I mean? So when I went to go and give blood last time, the guy was like proper looking at my files, and he was like, you haven't been here in 5 years. Like, do you think that's good enough? Like, literally, and I was like, sir, we were in a pandemic. Like,
my own body part.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of stuff has happened since, but I didn't really. Whatever. I just, water off that kind of thing. And then I think in that moment, he was talking about bone marrow, donations and the importance of it and signing up. And I think to prove almost
that you were good,
that I'm I was like, yeah, sign me up. But obviously do want to do it. Obviously it's a very complex thing, but I don't regret it. But then I got and I totally forgot. And then I got my card through the thingy, and yeah, it just made it all very real. But I'm glad I've done it.
Well done.
Help me.
Would you give someone a kidney?
Like Selena Gomez?
No, not her boyfriend. No. That was her best friend.
She received a kidney.
Yeah, I think, or something like that. I can't remember what her story is. But would you give someone a kidney?
Outside of immediate family.
Yeah, because you can live with just one kidney.
Yeah.
Would you give me a kidney?
I would. It depends on how strong. It depends on how strong my other kidney is.
Yeah, but you'd have to do lifestyle changes though. Your drink will probably have to limit as well because you don't want to damage the one that you have.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it depends on who it is. I would definitely give you a kidney.
Okay. Good.
Would you give me a kidney?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Phew. Because I'll take my kidney back if you would give it to me. Give me back. Give me my shit.
Give me my kidney back. No, I would actually.
No, same. I definitely would. What is a couple of less peach blinis if you can stay alive?
My friend can live longer. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. I can sacrifice.
And I wouldn't even mind if it's no, but if I gave you a kidney, I can't lie.
I won't drink in front of you.
No, you never live it down. If I see you sniff a Prosecco,
abuse it, alcohol.
My kidney. As in,
no, get that shit back.
In fact, you probably don't want it because I'll watch over everything. I'm like, can you send me a log of what you drank today?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing, my kidney, bruv? Is it well looked after? Maybe consider that I would never let you live it down.
Yeah, no,
I will give you a kidney.
I would need that accountability.
Okay,
so I might forget.
Good. Oh my gosh, we haven't spoken about this, but you can't, not too much because I've only watched one episode.
Okay.
Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
That first episode might be the best episode I've ever watched.
Twice. Yeah, it really threw me through a loop, that whole show. Like, I was just, remember watching it thinking, oh, it's a bit of a slow burner. But then suddenly it was just like, oh.
So Paradise is a show on Disney. It's got, I keep calling this man Raheem Sterling.
Oh God, no, it's definitely not Raheem Sterling.
Sterling K. Brown. I know there is a Sterling there somewhere. It's got Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us in it. And
I love the name
Sterling. The president is someone as well. I can't remember his name though. I like him.
Yeah, he's been in something.
Yeah, I like him as an actor. But yeah. And it's just about this security guard looks after a president. I won't ruin it to you. But there was a great line in it where the president said, like, the world is 17 times more fucked than people think it is. And I thought, oh.
Exactly.
And I know it's art and there's this whole thing of art imitating life and life imitating art. But I truly believe it's probably 30 times more fucked.
Oh yeah, I don't think we know the half of it. We still live in our little bubbles. And even though we're exposed to so much, we don't know the half of it.
I don't know if I want to know.
I don't want to know because I can't comprehend. It's already fucked up enough as it is with all the fuck shit that's already going on in this world. To know that it is deeper and darker, I just cannot fathom. Like, I honestly just cannot fathom. And
if you were to find out the world you're currently living in is a stimuli, it's not actually real, would you want to go back to the real world?
Do I know anything about the real world, or is this going to be a brand new surprise?
No, you don't know anything about the real world. It was just like, hey, just to let you know, when you were born, since that year, you've been living in a fake world. There is a real world option if you want to see what it's like, but this one you're in is fake. But they're not going to tell you if it's good if it's
or bad
or whatever. It's just you are in a world that's not real.
Okay, even though it's not real, I can't lie. It'll be like split or still.
I'm sticking to what I know.
Yes, I was like, I think
this is bad enough.
Exactly.
But there's the option that it might be heavenly and amazing and great. Better.
That's too risky. Like I mean, even though here right now is a hellhole, like I can manage the hellhole because it's all I know. The concept of like worse hell is just. Yes.
So many bad things are happening. And I think what's really worse about it is that everybody, rather than trying to fix what's happening, we're trying to be like, how can I be rich enough for it to not affect me? So here's a problem.
And that's kind of like what Paradise is about.
Yeah, how can we solve this problem? We don't know. How can I personally put myself in a situation where this problem doesn't affect me? We're not solving what's actually happening. We're trying to be like, how can I separate myself from it? And yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we're going to go back to actually, no, how can I fix this? So it doesn't matter if it affects me or not. It just doesn't affect anybody. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think it depends on what it is. Like the macro things, I think most of us just feel like this is completely above our pay grade. Like there's nothing we can, but definitely like the micro things, I feel like that is becoming a thing even with the smaller, more contained like issues. Like people are just trying to be like removed from those problems. Yeah. And it's just, and I get it because sometimes it feels like things are just, they're above fixing. It's just like, what can I actually do? But yeah,
and we're distracted by our everyday problems. Like you're not even like really deep in how big and broad things are. But
100%.
Yeah, Paradise is
it gets better, by the way.
Reason from episode
really
1,
good.
I was gripped. Yeah, this is so
because at first I didn't understand it, and then at first I was like, oh, it's like another president show kind of thing because you know this. Like,
that's why I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah,
I was like, president shows, man,
another thing where the president gets killed. Oh,
that's exactly what I thought.
But then I was very confused. So I was like, why does the president live here? Like that was the first. I was like, why does he live here? Like that's not the White House. Do you know what I mean? But then it all makes sense later on.
So good.
And like even the color grading of it all is very. And this is why I always die on this hill. You would love Handmaid's Tale.
One day I'll go.
It's very much you should try and catch up because the new series is coming.
How many seasons are we in?
I think we're going into the 6th. So we're waiting for season 6
One
to
day,
come.
I've got so much. I've got to finish Paradise. I've got The White Lotus.
There's a lot.
Handmaid's Tale. There's so much on my list that I've got to watch.
But it is so good.
Got to finish Big Boys. There's so many things. And also I watch Telly according to what place I'm in.
Yeah.
Because
and that is very dark.
Yeah, I've just been watching very easy, like watching Amanda Land, just things that are very easy, British, quick, whatever. I don't actually have to think. And you know, I've been watching Banging It Out, Different World. No, that's the wrong title.
Different World from back in the day, the Black Show.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Then Where You Come From. Is that it? No, it's not Different Shows.
Oh, R.I.P.
It's
Gary
a Bill
Coleman,
Cosby show. God forgive me.
Yeah, different world.
It is different world. Different world. Yeah. It's on Netflix. It's about the college kids.
Yeah, the college kids.
Yeah, which I really, I'm enjoying because it's just background television. But do you know who's in it, right? What's her name?
Lisa Bonet.
Yeah,
Lisa Bonet. Yeah.
She's done it in the first season.
Yeah, I feel like I
But
knew
do you know why
that.
they kicked her off? Because she got pregnant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I
watched
wait,
her.
why is she doing the first season?
So did you ever used to watch like E! True Hollywood Stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember watching that, and actually, funnily enough, is Bill Cosby dead?
Is he died now?
No. Well, yeah. Anyway, he was one of the people that was really giving her a hard time because he was like acting as if he was her real dad. And it's just like,
get the fuck out of my
it's
face.
just like, sir, you are.
And was she pregnant for thingy?
You're not Lenny Kravitz, yeah, because I believe she's only got one child.
Yeah,
I believe she's only got Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, she's for Zoe,
Yeah. But you know, there are some people that have managed to, just by being relevant, by virtue of whatever it is that they, I don't know if it's their aesthetic, they're just like, she's managed to remain relevant.
Because she hasn't really gotten them. I looked to see other jobs and shows
and
I couldn't see.
IMBD ain't really
low.
IMBD.
Sorry, it's low. I went to look, it was like random independent scary film.
Yeah,
like,
but she hasn't really done anything like big blockbustery.
Do you know what she done that smashed it?
What?
Picked a good baby daddy.
Yeah, she did. She did one that's always going to allow you to eat.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny, the icon that is Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, she did well. And I feel like they've got a good like co-parenting relationship and all the rest of it.
Do you know who didn't pick well? Hailey Bieber. No, what's her name? Not Hailey Bieber.
Halle Berry. Hallelujah. Halle Bailey.
Hailey Bailey.
Halle Bailey. No, Halle Bailey.
Hailey Bailey.
No, Halle Bailey. No, that was such an accident. Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
Oh my God.
That
was a mouthful.
Jesus Christ. Are we a professional talkers?
Oh my God.
She's an example. And the thing is, I'm so sorry about it. Here.
She didn't pick well. So.
Those with that sin.
Yeah, cast the first stone.
That's not how the saying is. But of course people fucked up. But I think there is a conversation that women need to have with themselves that we never do because it's somehow.
It feels anti-woman.
It's somehow. And I think the conversation is, hey, I'll say the things people don't want to say. Shoot me. Is that sometimes there are certain characteristics that we see prior to breeding with a man that we should take into account to be like, hey, maybe I shouldn't have kids with this one.
Because he was doing some fuck shit way before their son came into the picture.
Yeah.
There was a lot of red flag moments.
I understand if I had a kid with someone and they did a 180, sorry, because it's 360 is just about, 180 on me and I just did not see it. Like I'm like, wow. Like I'm mind blown. But there are certain situations and famous people aside with normal evidence who were like, but what did you, but look how he treated you in your relationship. Look at all the things you did. Why did you now think he was going to be a splendid father?
Exactly. He is really putting that lady through it. And the thing that makes it kind of sad, and again, this is like reflective of many people's situations. Do you know what I mean? They can just be figureheads because, you know, we all know them. But this is like a reality for a lot of people. And it's like, I don't like this space where we can't say things to other women. Like, I consider this to be a safe space. Do you know what I mean? Like, neither one of us are pick-me's. We're both very much, you know, we love women and all the rest of it. But I don't think that women are above reproach. Do you know what I mean? And again, I'm not talking about critiquing Halle because at the end of the day, I don't know her from a can of paint.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I'm just talking about in general, whether it be your sister, whether it be your friends. But it's almost this thing as though women cannot be corrected. And it's just like, no, sometimes, and of course there's so many contributing factors that lead to these things being, you know, what they are. But sometimes a poor decision is also a contributing factor. Do you know what I mean? It might not be the sole thing, but it's definitely a contributing factor.
And also, pregnancy is not unavoidable. I've been dealing with that shit, nigga.
But just know.
The whole time you're there, I'm having a child.
That's what they say about our good sister Laurie Harvey. They're like, do you know what? People get onto her all the time about her dating habits or choices, but one thing she's not going to do is have a baby for no fucking bum. Like, do you know what I mean? And by bum, it doesn't mean money because you can still have money and still be a bum.
Like every time someone complains about having a child in the future, but you've seen what he's done.
Look how many examples.
He's given you how many examples and you thought, okay, cool. Like, what did you think was going to, I just... We must be better at making decisions.
We must be better. Because going back to this DDG thing, he's been giving Halle a headache for time. And I get it. Like, at the end of the day, no one can dictate what someone... Of course, we can't dictate who someone wants to be with. And of course, like, people present differently in private. And, you know, there's this whole thing of it could just be his image. But I don't think so. Like, he's a streamer at the end of the day. So his whole life is, like, out there for us to see and just to digest. And he's been doing fuck shit. And the reason why this bothers me is because certain guys bank on you being, okay, I'm just going to say superior, right, for lack of a better phrase. He knows that because of her image and all the rest of it, he can bank on her silence, meaning that he can go online because that's his whole bag, isn't it? Like his whole thing is being this really transparent person. He's a streamer. He talks online. His whole spiel is being online. So he has that. Do you know what I mean? And he knows that she doesn't necessarily have that kind of thing, or it's not something that it's not like a weapon that she would use.
He can bank on her silence.
And he can absolutely bank on her silence. And so therefore he can project his side of the story, knowing that she's never going to do a piece to camera and talk about her personal life. And I feel like that is such an unfair...
When people know that about you. When they know that you're not going to while out.
Exactly. When they know that it goes against everything you stand for.
People around you will tell you not to. They know you're not going to move mad. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's absolutely what he's doing. And the whole thing just makes no sense to me. And actually, this was on my list of things I wanted to talk about as well, actually, but I wanted to talk about it kind of like from a different angle about like co-parenting and like single motherhood and the parent that stayed and all the rest of it, because he's online wilding out, because he's saying he can't see his son. But it's like, she put out a video saying that her and Halo are very sick. Right, they've got like some sort of like respiratory something, and they're very sick. You decided to go on the internet knowing that you can't see your son because he's sick and create a whole other narrative that you just can't see your son. Like, I am so tired of baby fathers weaponizing this thing that women do not let them see their children. I do not believe that is the majority. And this is why I felt really strongly, even back in the day when we used to talk about this when Milena was here, and I was always like stood on business with that whole thing of like, you can't have the privileges that come with a 2-family household when you are co-parenting. There's certain things that now go out of the window. So this whole idea that they're not together anymore, but he feels entitled that he can rock up and see his son whenever he wants. I don't care if you're the other parent. You cannot do that. Do you know what I mean? And this is what people need to understand when you're making these decisions. Like, everybody wants to do everything by the book without sticking to the actual rules of it. And everybody wants to contort things to suit their, without actually playing by the actual rules of what comes with that situation. When you co-parent, and now that I've had a child, I will speak even firmly on it, because I said it then and I say it again. And then God forbid, if anything ever breaks down between Nick and I will be saying the same thing. When you co-parent, if we're not together, you can't rock up to my house.
No, you can't. You can't come up to my house.
You've lost those privileges, sir. You now have to schedule in when you want to see your son.
And also, like, talk to me to be like, okay, I'm sure we'll allow days, whatever. I'm not going to take you from kid, but you can't just be like, on a random Tuesday, I'm going to pop up and then you're going to be like, oh, she never lets me see my kid.
I think that's what happens.
I think loads of people will be like, oh, just for my kid, let me let him in, just for my kid. But you're like, you're not respecting my boundaries.
Exactly.
You're going to rock up to the house on the random Tuesday.
And the kid has a routine.
Plans to go somewhere else? What if they have to be in bed about 8?
Exactly.
And you turn up here about 7:45? I was going to spend time with my kid.
And I fucking hate that, because they come online and then they perpetuate this whole thing of like, this woman won't, and then all the other fucking incels and deadbeats feel galvanized. And it's like, no, you're a deadbeat because you don't actually want a schedule. That's not what you want. You want to parent
whenever you
under your own conditions. You want it to be conditional. And I feel like that is like the caveat that is often missing from this whole thing of, she just won't let me see my kid. Have you told them the full story about when you tried to pop up? Because your meeting happened to get cancelled, or your date that you were going on with this random thought fell through. Now all of a sudden you've got a gap in your diary, and you want me to interrupt this child's routine, this, their play date, their whatever it is that kid's got, all just because I don't fucking want to deal with you that day. And now you want to turn around and say, I won't let you see your kid. But when I talk to you about, let's have a schedule, like, let's do this properly, you don't want to hear it. And that's what stood out to me, because he was saying he doesn't want to go to court because the court's going to get in your business. Sir.
But you're getting random people on the internet in your business.
Exactly.
Go to court, sort your business out properly and go see your child. And also, it's one of those things that the child grows up and the dad will be like, I used to try and come see you, but your mum won't let me. But did you tell the child you came at 10 p.m.
Exactly.
On a
when
school
they're fast asleep
and a little bit tipsy? Did you? Did you?
No,
tell your child
you
that?
left out those minor details.
Did you tell your child that, your mum never used to let me come around? Often I think about deadbeat dads, right, whose children have become very successful. They must fucking... They must be looking at that child. Because how many like rappers, football players, basketball players, they'll be like, my dad wasn't around. And they must be watching their kid sick.
And you can't even. Can you imagine?
Because LeBron James' dad is not around.
Oh, God. What an L.
Every time I see that boy touch him, I'm vomiting. Because also, you can't come now.
You can't.
Kevin Durant's dad is not banned. You can't come
and
now
he's got his
be
own
like,
sandwich at Joe and the Juice. To get all the points he scored. Yeah, and it slaps. It's a steak protein sandwich at Joe and the Juice and it absolutely slaps.
Durant?
Yeah.
Where did you have this in New York?
I had it the other day. No, I had it in Batsy. I had it in Batsy.
That Kevin Durant
Kevin Durant has his own steak sandwich at Joe and the Juice and it's flat rye bread, with steak and relish and gherkin and Parmesan cheese and did I say relish already?
Yeah.
And relish. And it slaps and a bit of rocket.
It's gone.
Yeah, and it proper slaps.
I randomly really like him.
Yeah, I like Kevin
Durant. I watched him play once and I thought he's well cool.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's a well good player.
Scores. He
bounces the ball really
balls in the hole.
Ball's going, he does. Women in sport. And then when I watched him on Court of Gold, I really liked him.
That documentary.
I love when people are streamlined on their goal. He is like, he doesn't give an eck if he has to comb his hair or cut his hair in months. I'm playing basketball and I'm going to do it well. And I fucking love people like that. But yeah, and he's one of them ones that, like, to be fair to him, if his dad was around, he might not play basketball.
Because
I think there was something in the struggle of, I'm going to make it because we came up badly. But their fathers must want to.
They must be fucking kicking themselves and good. And I think that, and unfortunately it doesn't work out that way for everybody, but my God.
Imagine.
Can you imagine? Like, that must just be hell. Especially if you're down and out. And that's why I hate that.
You can't just go back.
And I hate it when people are like all self-righteous and they're like, oh, well, yeah, at the end of the day, that's your parent. You just fuck them.
Fuck off, because what happened?
I would never.
Also, if you do come back, what do you say? I was busy at work for the last 6 years, or your mum didn't let me see you.
No, it's embarrassing.
Okay, but when I got to about 16 and outside of my mum, and I could have come to meet you, why didn't you sort things out then?
There is no excuse. And a lot of people, and a lot of the deadbeats, they say that. They're like, they put it on the mum. They put it on the mum, and it's such an easy scapegoat. Yeah. But if you want to do it, because some of you have work and you have multiple commitments, but when it's time to fuck, you find time to fuck. You cannot tell me that when it comes to your child, you have fought tooth and nail. And yeah, of course there's going to be situations where sometimes maybe the mum is being difficult. I'm not saying that that is that's absolutely off the table and that never happens. I know people in those situations, but trust and believe those dads are fighting for their lives. Like, these people are in court, they have done everything. And at worst case scenario, when they've had to give up, they've got all their paperwork, they're still paying their child support. And they know that when that child is an adult or whatever, or old enough to be able to communicate with them, they can go back and explain. But most of you are not doing that. Most of you give up at the first hurdle.
I'll tell you this for nothing. There's not one man I know that's told me that he's not allowed to see his kids that has gone to go fight in court.
They never do.
There's not one man. No, that's wrong, because what?
They never do. There's always some excuse.
Like, oh, Papa tried to see my kid, but she doesn't let me, blah, 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 blah. When was the last time you tried?
They don't.
Did you ever go to court? None of them.
All of a sudden, they can take the woman's word for that one.
Yep.
But they don't want to fight. But you want to fight me on everything else.
They have never
You've got energy to fight me on
that
everything.
hard.
And it's just, yeah, I
don't know if court costs money, but hey, have you involved her family? Have you spoken to her mum to be like, I really want to see, or have you just been like, oh no, fuck her, man.
I don't believe that the majority are exhausting all measures.
No,
I'll
chat to him when he's grown. I chat to my kid when they're grown.
Exactly. I don't believe that the majority are exhausting all measures, and I don't believe that the majority care that much. And I don't believe that also the other side of it is that the mums are really evil, vindictive women. Like, most women want a break. Most women with sense, like, if they had it their way and you were someone that had their shit together and you didn't want to have sporadic visitation rights, they would love to have a schedule. But when you're the primary parent, you've got to take these things into consideration. It can't just be willy-nilly. And a lot of the times I feel like the deadbeat dads, they don't want to cooperate. They literally want everything to be on their time, on their dime, on their schedule. And they don't want to take that into consideration, because the option really is to do it 50-50. Most of them don't want that. They want to be able to do it at their most optimum convenience levels. And it is just very unfair. And I just feel like it's just a really easy thing. So that's why this whole DDG thing is very I don't know, it just pisses me off, because what he's doing is galvanizing all of those people to feel vindicated in what they're doing. And it's no, it's clear as day what's happening, because it's playing out in front of us. Hallie literally posted a video of them saying they were very sick. In that time, he decided that he thought that this was the best time to go online and try and out her. He was like, oh, I live hours away, blah, blah, blah. I drove all the way there to pick up my son, then I'm tired. First of all, if you're that serious about your son, you've even got the resources. Move closer. What do you mean you live hours away? And these are the things I'm talking about when I say that people people are not, that you're not exhausting all measures. You're just not. You want everything to be comfortable for you and you want the woman to accommodate. Like, fuck off.
Hey, every morning I'm going to pick up the kids to take
Exactly. You will you will literally do something.
I want to see my kid every single day. Okay, come pick
You will do something. And even if it's not a 50-50 thing, there are so many things in parenting that you can do to make that mum's life easier. Do you know what I mean? If it is coming and picking them up and doing the school run. Mrs. Doubtfire. Listen, that film might be problematic now, but if you look at the message, I don't know.
You're not going to take that away from me. No?
Yeah, no, I love that film. That's one of my all-time favorite films. They may say it's problematic now, but the message is the message. The message that man did everything in his power to see his children to the point where he disguised himself up as a housekeeper, as an old woman. He put on a prosthetic nose, acrylic bum, a fat suit, wore a dress and tights and a wig, just so that he could lay eyes on his children daily. That is the... do you know what I mean? That is a man that is fine. And he was still going to court. Yeah. And do you remember, because even when he wasn't Mrs. Doubtfire, he was in court. Yeah, and do you remember he had all of those like conditions that he had to get a job, he had to get an apartment.
Scene is when she's filming a TV show, when she comes there to come and tell the wife to be like, allow, like, please. Like, when they're made up, it's just like,
exactly.
Oh, this is so
like
nice.
That is someone that really fought to see their kids. Most of you haven't done that, let alone put on a wig to come and see your kids.
Really random. I interviewed the director of that when I was doing a thing for Netflix.
I fucking love that film.
And I started crying because I told him how much I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's such a good film. It's bloody brilliant.
He was like, wait, why does this mean so
I'm
much to you?
melting like a snow cone Phoenix.
And it was around COVID time. And I was like, this means so much to me. I think my dad had not died not long before. And I was like, it means so much to him because I remember being younger and really thinking my dad was going to do it one day.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, my dad's going to do that. And I don't know why he put us like, and then suddenly he was like, that's so lovely. I was like, I don't know how you thought of the idea, but as a kid, I was like, yeah. Wait, my dad's going to turn up.
And do you know what? For its time, it was quite progressive because it was like they were separated parents. You know, she was very frustrated by him. Exactly, and he used to like, and the visitation person from the court used to come and like, monitor the house and make sure that. And then as he was making more money being the housekeeper, he started upping. He was up.
Do you know what people are doing now? The people who are divorced, they are instead of when they, so do you know when, like, for example, that scene of the, like, he picks up his kid and he takes him to whatever, like, he's moved in or whatever he's moved in. What they're doing now is the kids get to stay in the family home and the parents take it in turns. If they're like, I'm going to stay here for a week, and then when it's your week, you come and stay in the house.
Okay.
And then I'll go somewhere else. So the kids don't ever leave their family home.
Oh, okay. That's actually,
like, that's interesting. I think it's probably a financial thing.
You might have to have some money.
Because it would mean that you both have to have somewhere else to stay. So rather than moving the kids every week, or however you decide to do it, the parent comes to stay for that week.
Yeah, I think that works, because at the end of the day, you're not filling their heads with delusion that mum and dad are still together or there's some sort of hope or anything like that. I do think in those situations it's very important. Because actually, funnily enough, I saw some clip of Khloe Kardashian saying that how Dream thinks that her and Tristan are married, and I was just like, that's fucking stupid.
Do you know what's so weird?
That's dumb.
I don't know if this is many other people's experience. Nobody ever sat me down and told me mum and dad weren't together or were together.
This was just the setup.
You just, okay.
What is the status of these lot's marriage there, or relationship?
Said, hey, I guess like, I lived with my dad when I was in Nigeria, and then I came here and lived with my mum. Nobody was like, just so you know, me and your dad, mum still had our family name.
Yeah, kids when...
I just thought they just lived in different countries until I was like,
I think culturally, we don't
no
talk
one
about...
sat me down and was like,
the kids are not involved in these big life decisions. You're kids and you will know your place. Yeah, I definitely think they should be. I think that's something that we're definitely doing now.
That people sit their kids down and be like, hey,
the honesty, because I actually think that and it may not cause confusion to the point where it affects your life massively, but it's definitely something that will cross your mind. Just
I can't wait it happens so I could act out.
Oh yeah, just like have that, so you can be like,
I hate this house.
I hate it here. And then your mum's like, okay, let's go on a shopping spree to make you feel better. No.
Shut the fuck up.
He's just like, no, this is just what it is.
This is just what it is.
But yeah, I definitely think kids deserve honesty, because I think that they should just know what it is.
Yeah, because you're saying about Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah, because she was saying that True thinks that her and Tristan are married, and I've always like stood on, like, died on this hill. Like I think it's very important to be transparent with children. At the end of the day, they have a lot of elasticity, whatever the word is. They are more resilient than us in some. And I think that if you just set them up in an environment that they know what it is, and they will. But I think like how heartbreaking that when she's 10 or 11, you've now got to tell her that you're not married, and this was. And also, what are you showing her as to what like? It depends on what your version of marriage looks like, but to her, marriage means that mum and dad live in separate houses. They do things separately. They like it's just weird. Like I think that kids deserve honesty, and I think that they are stronger than. And I think putting them in this bubble that we think is protective actually isn't protective at all, because now when you do tell them they've got to live with the thing of like my mum was lying to me the whole time and this isn't what marriage is and they're not together. I just feel like and also, I get it, but no.
As a 6-year-old and act out as a teenager.
Honestly, because it's going to come out in some way, shape or form. Or even if it just informs like what relationships look like to you, it's going to affect them in some way, shape or form. And I just feel like when the younger they are, the more resilient they are, and like the longer they have to like just accept that this is what life is. So I thought that was very weird. But I just don't like people trying to, the rules of marriage is this is what it is. And then people trying to make their own versions of it. If you don't want to commit to the thing, be honest about what it is you're doing. Like that really, really winds me up. So like, you know, the rules of marriage are you're supposed to be monogamous, you're supposed to be this, but people want to like contort it to suit their comfortability. And it's
I'm surprised you're saying that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I am a liberal person, but I do think that like things are things for a reason. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that you should contort things completely to the point where it's so far removed from what the original thing is. Because I think it's just, I just think
so
it's...
you don't think that there's a version of like, it's an open marriage?
Yeah, I think...
I'm saying things to
I think open marriage, that is what that is. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, the Christian in me believes that a marriage is what is an institution, isn't it? But like an open marriage, that you've already gone into it with that. So that's different. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But it's when people go into something knowing what the rules are and now they're trying to bend and twist it to contort it to make it comfortable for them.
But then is that because it like there is a version where for it to work, they need to bend and twist it. So it's like the intention is there to be like, okay, cool. But because the world hasn't given us a label of what this looks like, it has to be marriage. Because we don't have any other like title or label or whatever. Because it's the way I'm thinking about it is like I think relationship, and there's no set way to do it. Which is why I think there's no set way to do a marriage, right? We have to bend and contort this for what this looks like and what works for how we work. There's marriages where they don't live in the same country. They live in, there was a ridiculous one, sorry to judge, but there's this woman, I shared it on my socials where she's in love, including sex, with AI from ChatGPT.
Yeah, I heard that.
She's married.
So
when I first read the title, I assumed, I was like, singleness is killing my people, man. I just thought she's extremely lonely, blah, blah, blah. She's married. Now, when they interviewed her husband, he was kind of like, yeah, he doesn't see it as cheating. Like, you know, she just needed that. And I was like, can't you see that your wife is tapped?
That's the first thing, like the cheating and all of that aside.
Can't you see your wife is tapped?
It's the computer thing for me.
But I said, I was like, okay, I guess if it means that if it means that she has to go sleep with other people in real life and blah, 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 and that's what she needs to feel, because there were certain things that she wants sexually that her husband is unable to give her, but she can get it from this ChatGPT person.
Whatever the ChatGPT can give her husband can give her.
No, because what she likes is that she likes to hear about her partners talk about their things with other women.
Oh, for God's sake, this is what I'm saying.
And obviously she doesn't want her husband to cheat.
And
he doesn't want to cheat. But the ChatGPT, she can ask it to tell her about his experiences, how other women would cheat. It's all very weird, right?
That is fucked.
But is there a world of that, like, in order for it to work for people, you have to
I think you can write your own rules within your marriage. Yeah. But the fundamentals of what make that thing, I think that people shouldn't really try to deviate from that. Do you know what I mean? So if you both enter an open marriage, to me, that's very different because you're entering an open marriage. So you're entering it with these rules and regulations for what this type of marriage is. That's very different. But people doing mental gymnastics in something that is actually quite clear cut as to what it is because they're maybe too scared or they, you know, I think it's usually fear, isn't it? Yeah. It's usually fear-based. But it's just like you're trying to convince yourself that, oh, this can like, okay, so for example, the marriage thing, that one's tricky because that one's for life. So where I've even talked about marriage premium, but that's levels to get, like that's getting certain points within marriage. But the kids one, like I just think that when people are trying to makeshift a 2-point like a two parent household without actually having that set up. I just don't understand why people do that. I just think you're setting your kids up. And I'm not saying that you can't co-parent and get along and do all of that, but when you're doing things like you're going on these family holidays, okay, for example, there's a couple on Housewives of Beverly Hills, yeah. They've got 2 kids, Dorit and PK. They're going through a divorce. Their kids still believe that they are very much together, and he is on this permanent business trip. Do you know what I mean?
How old are their kids?
Young. Their kids are like 9 and 7.
You can sit your kids down and tell them at that age.
Or something. So the kids are very young. But I just think that is a disservice to the children.
Or maybe it's a thing of they know their kids, right? There are certain parents that like, my kid will not handle that well. Or like I think there is a innate thing to protect a child's like whatever their fairy tale is, and it's the parents trying to be like, let me for as long as possible keep this fairy tale for you because I know my kid enough to know that they will not handle this thing well at all. So it might be that.
Yeah, I don't, listen, don't get it twisted. I don't think it ever comes from a bad place. I understand, but I think it gets to a point where you have to be real with yourselves. I
think there's no set way to do family, marriage or whatever, but one of the fundamental rules that runs in whatever way you do it is to show up.
Be there.
So I think above all, whatever it is you guys do, your routine, be there for your child.
But don't lie and delude the children. Like, I feel really strongly about that because it's just like you're building them up for something that is it's just not real.
I can almost promise you, as a kid who wasn't lied to, who wasn't told anything, I'd always assumed one day my parents would get back together as a kid.
Even though you...
Yep.
But that's because you didn't have that sit down.
But very early,
and you weren't given that.
Knew they weren't together.
Honesty.
I told you about when I found out the divorce papers. I was like, whoa, and I was young, but I cannot... Well, I always thought, you grow out of it. They're like, oh no, they're all...
And do you think that if you were brought into the conversation and they were honest with you and they were like, Mummy and Daddy aren't together, but we both love you very much, blah, 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 you still would have had that hope? I don't think that hope is necessarily the worst thing in the world, by the way.
So I say, the reason why I say that is that like, regardless of sometimes if they know or not, you sit them down and some kids will just be hopeful that like, oh, my parents will get back together. Maybe the hope is more...
I think they're more hopeful when they see you together, in that family dynamic.
Whatever. Maybe you are then confusing them. But I think confusing. I think there is... There can be hope that's independent of what you guys are doing. But if it's like you're confusing them, and it's like...
Yeah, I think
they're young enough to be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think it is very confusing. Like I said, God forbid if anything, I'll be the strictest co-parent. Oh my God. I'll be so strict. I'm not doing any of that. Like, you have your time, I have my time. The only time I can see myself, and again, God forbid I'm not speaking this into fruition at all, but the only time I can see it being joint is birthday parties. And that's only if it's a party. Like, a big party and we're going to do it together because it doesn't make sense to have 2. Otherwise, please be doing your celebrations and I'll be doing mine. Thank you and good night.
Do you know?
I'm very strict when it comes to stuff like that.
Do you know who suffers the birthday parties? The partner.
The new partner.
My God, is hell.
Yeah, I don't know how people put on a smiley face, boy. But what about the situations, like where you have accepted like a break baby or whatever, and you've accepted this child, and it's like a woman that they cheat on you with. So you are the partner that's already been there. They cheat on you with someone, and now they're having these moments together where that was your situation. Yeah. And I was thinking about like Ludacris's wife as well.
Yeah, and then you have to.
But I don't think that mum is. I don't think she's around no more. I think they got rid of her.
When it was a birthday party, I remember. Of course, I didn't go. I remember pictures being posted, and they both. God. All 3 of them had t-shirts on saying thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. I wanted to smash my laptop.
Thing?
Do you know the whole cartoon thing? Thing 1, it's a cartoon character.
Oh no.
It's a cartoon character, isn't it? But yeah, so there's thing 1 and then thing 2. And the baby now had thing 3. If I could have smashed everybody's face in, I would have smashed everybody's face in. And there's nothing you can do because you have to. And also, you stayed when the man had a kid. You should have left.
Yeah.
Like, I think those are the points I can't do this.
It's kind of like your personal problem at that point.
Yeah. You fucking stayed. What do you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
You can't tell him not to go to the kid's birthday party.
At least those things are like once every few years.
Yeah.
Or once a year,
unless you get
maximum.
Someone who's like, they want to do a party for their child every year.
Yeah, but even then, like, that's once a year.
Let's wrap this shit up.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, listen, there's so many like different dynamics, and I do respect it, but I'm just like...
But yeah, people that got married and like the... Because, wait, did it happen with Gabrielle Union as well? Did you have a break?
Yeah. Yeah, it did, yeah. They were on a break and then he got someone else pregnant. And do you know who the baby mom? Oh my God, who is that baby? So she is also the mother of someone else. Is it Neo? It's someone else, you know.
Oh, really?
So Dwayne Wade's baby mom. Sorry, that is so, for lack of a better phrase, but you know what I mean. She also has a kid with someone else that's famous. I think it is Neo. It's Neo's. So you know Neo is in court, with his last baby mom. And he basically wanted a DNA test and all the rest of it. That is the same woman that had a break baby with.
One thing famous men are going to do is be with the same
They're
people.
really they really, really are.
Okay, so what makes a baby a love child or a break baby?
A break baby is someone that you have on a break.
What's a love child?
A love child is someone that I think it's the same thing, but just different terms.
I think the title love child is so cool.
Love
I know it
child.
sounds mad.
Yeah, it sounds like it's
someone's love child.
It sounds positive.
Because it sounds like a baby that was made out of like passion and like love. But you know, the person was...
A love child is someone that's born in an affair, isn't it?
I think so. Wait, let me see if there's an I think a love child is born out of an affair.
Yeah, they're born out of an affair. And then a break baby. It's like we were on a break. We were on a break. And
no. A child born to parents who are not married to each other.
Oh, was that what a love child is?
Anyone's a love child.
I thought they were bastards.
Sorry. I don't know what that noise was.
I thought a bastard was a bastard. I thought it was, because I was technically a bastard.
No, you was a love child, baby.
Oh, is it? Okay,
you was a love child.
I claim love child over bastardity.
Yeah, you was a love child.
I don't want to
a bastard is saying it so casually. Yeah, a bastard is also an offensive term for a child born out of unmarried parents.
So I reckon the bastard, and they were just like, that is, because obviously words change and they evolve over time. A person born of
unmarried parents, an illegitimate child.
And then someone said, like, actually love child sounds better.
Because two fuckers didn't marry. I'm not illegitimate.
Exactly. Illegitimate is very harsh.
Because I wasn't born from a wedded union.
Illegitimate is harsh.
I thought a love child was me and you were married and I fall in love with Brent and have a baby with Brent. Like having an affair.
Like having an affair.
And then that's
what I thought it was. I thought a love child was born out of an affair.
I think it is still a love child because we're not married.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, not they're falling under different categories. Yeah, so on a pie chart, it would like, not a pie chart.
A Venn diagram.
Yes, it would like cross over onto both.
There'll be different versions of love child bastard. And it's
like crossing over into both. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's quite sad.
Yeah,
but most of us are like love children. Like most of us are love children. I definitely was a love child.
I'm not a love child.
My mum was like, definitely not married when I was brought into this world because I was definitely at their wedding.
My mum was married for.
And my mum was wearing this fly orange suit from the 90s.
Nice.
Yeah, and she was wearing like a power suit.
I've got pictures from my mum and dad's wedding.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So I was in it.
Oh yeah. I think it's so cool when like to see their pictures together.
Yeah, I actually. Well, I was gonna say I remember, but I don't know that I remember. But sometimes you think you remember, but you just seen pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw pictures, and my mum was she was wearing a short sleeve orange pencil suit.
Honey.
And she had her hair in like a bob.
Aww.
And yeah, she had red lipstick and my dad was wearing a suit and they went to the courthouse, honey.
My mum had on like her white dress, but she also had like a white and green ashoke and her gele as well. And in the picture, she's feeding my dad cake. Oh, that's so cute. There's this like poem that I saw. It's that one line and I've like, it stuck with me forever. And it says, I have my mother's eyes and my father's nose. On my face, they're still together.
Oh,
and
I
think
so
it is so beautiful. And I'm like, that is so cute.
That is really philosophical.
Like, it's such a nice way to say that. Like, oh.
That is really, really nice.
Look what you are like a symbol of two people who might not love each other anymore, but
you are
within you, they're still there. And I was like,
that
is so
very, very true.
Adorable.
That's beautiful.
Speaking of Gabrielle Union, so I have said, everybody knows I really like Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
Like, I just think she's really cool. I think she's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I just like her. I think she's gorgeous. And she, a while ago, and I think we probably spoke about it in this podcast, I'm sure we did somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Was somewhere talking about like she believes in 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I think her exact quote was 50-50 or bust.
Mm-hmm.
She's now been in another podcast and she's like, hey, I take it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Street.
I've grown up, I realised that I was saying 50-50 out of fear, out of my own insecurities, out of not really trusting someone fully to let them do more for me because I was just scared. Like, I've just been through a lot and I just thought, you know what, for 50-50, we'll both be level playing fields.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm doing more, if he's doing more, it won't be level playing field or whatever. And people are like, oh, mum. But I don't understand why people have a hard time with people changing their minds.
Bullying works. Because the internet got on her ass about that, which is so weird that you would have such a like visceral reaction
about someone else's
life, especially rich folk. Oh my God, like I can be like, oh, okay, but I'm just like, okay, that's their setup. Okay, cool.
I just thought it was their setup because I feel that some setups are harder to change depending on how you meet that person, right? And maybe she just spoke too early. Because like, let's say you meet someone at a certain point in their life where they have it, they've always had it, blah, 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 blah. It will then be hard because then how do your lives integrate where you're like, cool, I guess this bill's yours now.
Now suddenly.
This bill's yours now. Where they used to be like, oh, I've always paid for this thing or whatever. So like, and I completely understand it being like, I will, like it being a thing of, I didn't fully trust. Especially after remember this, we just said the man had a break baby on her. Of course she was fearful to go back into it and go, okay, cool, you look after 100% of everything. Because what if you fuck up again and then I'm fucked?
And now I'm fucked, I done spent all my money.
Yeah. And trusted you. So I mean, I like her, so I'm always gonna.
Yeah. No, I think it's completely fair. And also, like you said, changing your mind is not a crime.
It's absolutely valid.
Like people, it happens, especially.
My life has changed. Things are different for me now. Actually,
bro, your circumstances change, your mind evolves. People actually can be influential. Like even though the internet can be hell sometimes with people's unsolicited opinions and stuff like that. In situations like this, I'm not even really mad because when you go on podcasts and talk, then it is kind of open for public consumption. Do you know what I mean? And people are going to insert their opinions, and I think she understands that. And I think sometimes, like, even when you do get like lashings or whatever, maybe she took things from it. Like, I don't, and maybe it did make her like.
Actually, why?
Maybe actually, maybe why? Yeah, because
if
that's always been her norm. Sometimes you don't deviate from your norm. Like, this is just what you know. This is what all the setup has been, and it's just like actually, like, sir, because she even said like, okay, Mr. 3 times NBA championships winner. Like, what the hell do you mean I'm splitting the rent with you kind of thing? And she said that Dwayne was like, listen, I never wanted you to. You were the one that was like bulldozing your way through this thing. Like, you, like, okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? And okay, fine. I'm not going to fight you over it.
There's no way in hell that a man earns that much more than me.
Exactly. Do you know how much he's worth? He's worth like $700 million or some shit. That's a lot of money.
I will always misplace my purse. I will never know where it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, every time I want to use my card, I have to ring the bank to send me a new one. Because I have no idea the last time I put it anywhere. Because what do you mean you earn that much more than me? Now, I'm not saying I'll stop working.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm not saying I'll not earn money anymore. I'm just saying, as it pertains to this household, I am not lifting a penny.
100%. And I think in that situation, you have to just do what makes sense. Like, that's what I'm always for. I'm just for things that make sense depending on your context. So the whole 50-50 thing, I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm just whatever.
Depends on the household.
It depends on your household, whatever the earnings are. And in that situation, for someone to be that much more richer than you, make that much more, be worth that much more, logically, even the most logical person, if you remove emotion from it completely, that does not make sense.
If a man that earned that much more than me asked me to do 50-50, I'd assume he hates me.
Exactly. I think that's at that point, it's not about.
I'd be like, oh, you hate me.
I think at that point, it's just,
there's
something more. There's something very sinister about that because you're able to, you're like more than comfortably able to, and you choose not to because you want to keep me on some sort of leash.
I'm asking you for a salary. I'm not asking you for monthly money. I'm not asking you to pay for my hair.
Yeah, just cover the bills.
Cover the bills.
And the money that I make. It doesn't make, because if you can comfortably do it,
don't be a prick.
That's not even up for discussion.
Yeah, don't be a prick.
That just makes no fucking sense. Do you know what I mean?
Don't piss me off.
But exactly. You don't have to, but that just doesn't make any sense. So so she says she's gone back and she's been like, actually, can you do this? And to be fair, they've been married a really, really long time. So I'm sure that like, also her walls have come down a little bit more, even in that time where she had, where she had time to like think about what she was doing or whatever. And it's like, actually, I do really trust you.
That has gone through a lot. I think
she's gone
through a lot. So I completely understand why she's like, I need to look after and this like, and I get that.
Yeah, definitely.
I completely and utterly get that. I was thinking the other day what my dream job will be. And I've changed my mind.
Okay. What was it?
I can't even remember. But my dream job currently is to be a PR girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Like
whenever they want to launch a new rapper, a new footballer, a new we're trying to get you into the papers, they would have to date me.
Yeah, and because a lot of them, coverage. But those PR girlfriends, especially the ones like in our community, because I've noticed they love to wheel out a black woman when the rumor is that this person
Doesn't
dates.
like black women.
Yeah, doesn't like that. It's like clockwork.
Yeah.
I remember it with Michael B. Jordan. I remember it with who's the latest guy? Aaron Pierre.
But where did everyone get that from? That he was married?
I don't know. I don't even know whether that's true. I don't think it is true though. Like I don't know.
Really
but there was like
there
were rumors that he was married and. And that he was married to like a white woman.
And there was like a selfie of him with a woman. And that's suddenly, I don't know if
exactly. I don't know if it's a scene from a film. You just never know. It could be anyone. It could be a friend from college. You just never know. It could be an ex-girlfriend. I've got no idea. Whether he's married or not, I genuinely have no idea. But it's just
Jonathan
not
Majors.
It's Jonathan Majors, exactly. It's just not lost on me that the rumors were circulating, and now the rumors of him and Tiana Taylor.
There's a film in that, guys. Fuck. Imagine the scene.
Okay.
So it is a rapper or whatever. He's done some major fuck up, and they're just like, not major fuck up. There's just rumors that he doesn't date black women. Right? So it's this rapper, he's doing well, all the women love him, whatever. And for some reason, and because as soon as they find out they date the white woman, suddenly fuck that guy. Yeah, which I think is weird, but whatever.
Very.
Yeah. But like, there's this guy who is a rapper, he's so respectable, makes great music, makes conscious music, like it's really, really cool and witty and great looking, whatever, right? And his career's going great. He gets pictured on a night out. Snowbodies everywhere. Snowbodies ever. Not never, but like
remind me because I want to talk about him after.
Right? So he's like, that's what it is. Gets pictured, he's having a great time. And obviously the black woman is like, no, we loved you, we thought blah, 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 blah. They just get themselves upset and
But
angry
where did this narrative come from that we're like that?
I don't know. But whatever, for whatever reason, the black women are fuming that this man is with white women. So the next day he has to come back to his PR meeting and the woman's like, what the fuck, man? Like, why did you let them take pictures?
Yeah.
Why didn't you take their phone? I don't care what you do be at the closed doors, but you're taking our money away. She's fucking fuming at him. She was like, well, you're going to have to get a black girlfriend. So the next scene is they've got presentation of all these different black girlfriends.
Yeah, oh my God, that's exactly what I envisioned in my head.
Away. And then he's like, fine, he picks her. And the black woman that he picks, she is a budding actress.
Okay.
She's gorgeous. She's incredibly talented, but she just hasn't had that film yet to take her off another level. So she also needs some PR in to take her up another level. So like they do meetings with her and she's like, and she says like, yeah. Then she goes back to her friends and like, what the fuck are you doing with a rapper? Like, girl, you're so much better than him. You don't need this. She's like, girls, I'm doing this because of this. And she's like, oh, an actress that was like found in a theatre. She's quite serious. She takes herself quite seriously, whatever. She's like, well acclaimed, but hasn't reached that peak yet. She wants to go into Hollywood. So she's like, girls, I just have to do what I got to do, man. Like, you get it, blah, 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 blah. So the first date she goes on with me, she's like, this guy's a fucking idiot. And she's like, what the fuck am I doing? I want to do this, but they have to start getting pictured and whatever. Anyway, the trope is they go from haters to lovers. And then eventually they actually fall deeply in love with each other and get married.
Netflix. Netflix.
I think that is a great film.
You see this woman right here, yeah?
Would watch that film,
was just
actually.
off the dome.
I would watch that film.
That was off the dome of us. Like, this was not planned, by the way. We don't plan our conversations. That was off the dome, off the back of this, off the cuff topic. And she just came up with that whole concept.
To watch film.
If you don't give her a fucking TV show right now and commission my good sis on something, that was off the dome.
Yeah, you could just.
I would love that because it's giving seat filler. Yeah, exactly. It's giving like that kind of
it's
like
cultural. It's relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an easy thing to make.
I would love that film because that is a hot topic and that is something that happens
all the time. Yeah,
100%. I would definitely watch that. 5 stars.
Great. Okay,
5
cool.
stars.
I think that's a good
5
film.
stars.
But anyway, you wanted to talk about your good brother. My
favourite broken clock. And I quote him often on this here podcast, you know. Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, I will say this. Okay, so the people have questioned his credibility as a doctor. Some people have said that they don't believe, but he has said time and time again that he went to Millisfield University and he got his doctorate there.
In
okay?
What? Is a doctor of what?
Is children's psychology.
Okay, let me say.
Or psychology or something like that, right? So he said it time and time again. He's produced the receipts time and time again that he went to this university. He says that he's a doctor and he's fully qualified. But there are a lot of people that call themselves doctors in like, that are just media doctors, but I don't know that they actually have.
I feel like you're not allowed to call yourself a doctor.
Like, is Dr. Phil a real doctor?
Yeah, but
does anyone ever question him? Because where's his paperwork?
Whatever. Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Is that where he went?
No, apparently so. He's Ghanaian. That's why you love him.
No, do you know what? He's actually not.
No, it says He's a black Ghanaian.
No, that's incorrect. Are you on Wikipedia?
Yeah.
That's not correct information.
Okay.
That's not correct. Clinical psychology, that was it, yeah. But he's African American, but he actually claims Nigeria. Through ancestry, okay. But anyway, that's just a little backstory on Dr. Umar Johnson.
That's my black king right there.
But whether he is an actual doctor or not, I can't speak to it. He said he is. But what I will say, because now he's getting absolutely dragged, and rightly so, just off the vein of what we were talking about deadbeat dads and stuff like that, he has always maintained that he has got 2 daughters. But I know that the narrative at the moment is kind of like, people are like, he's been hiding his kids. This whole time he had kids, blah, 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 and he never He's always said he had 2 daughters. Okay. He's always been very transparent about that. I've seen so many interviews where he says he's got 2 daughters. They're estranged, but he pays child support and it's complicated with the mum. So he's always been honest about that. What's happened though in the last week or so is that his daughter's actually come out. And at first there was some question marks about the legitimacy of whether that actually was his daughter. And so he done this video, which is very foul. Like, I can't co-sign this in any way, shape or form. He basically did a response video to his own kid.
That makes me sick.
And he called her a struggle streamer. He was like, I know you want views for your struggle streaming career, but listen here, princess. And he's basically like, what's the word? Like rally, like what's the word where you kind of amp someone up? But he's basically trying to amp her up to like have this meeting with her mum, herself and him so that he can basically back himself and be like, listen, I've tried to be there for you. It's all your mum. It's all your mum. It's all your mum. And everybody is like outraged, but I don't really know. Actually, I see why they're outraged. But yeah, everyone's outraged because he's going back and forth online with his daughter.
That's the problem. Like, I just don't think parents should go back and forth with their kids on the internet. It's just mad to me. You just have to be better than it. You just have to be like, as your parent, I'm not doing this.
I cannot.
Like, even if you feel like you have to address on the internet for people, just be like, I am her parent. I am not doing it to her on the internet.
Exactly. I think that should have been the beginning, the middle, and the end of that response. But to actually kind of like have like a combative back and forth with your own daughter, and his daughter's like 22, so she's a grown woman, and then he's got another daughter that's like 13, and she basically said that she went public because she's been trying to build a relationship with her little sister, and he's really the only person that can connect the relationship or whatever, make the relationship happen. And she says that she's got no interest in him because he's never been there for her. He's basically always been a deadbeat. And part of his response was him saying that he's been paying child support for her since before she was even born. He's been on child support. And I just don't fuck with that. And everyone's like, where there's a hotep, there's a child that is not being claimed, because these people
and all
are the biggest
about
hypocrites.
Blackness. I think one of the first things when it comes to black community is black families.
100%.
So that's one thing you should have put on lock. That's 100%. You should have been doing amazingly before you come out shouting about blackness and black culture.
This is the thing.
Black family is the fundamental of our culture.
100%. Like, especially people that preach pro-blackness. And I think that like the whole, because people are constantly having that conversation about, can you be pro-black and date outside your race? I think that's kind of by the by. If you do have children, your number one thing should be making, and especially if you, oh my God, if you're going to come out and preach about this stuff, please be living by it. And I will give it to him that he's been honest about the temperature of the relationship with his kids and stuff like that. He has been honest, but it doesn't make it okay, because you're out here talking about the black dads need to be in the home. The black dads were removed from the home. And I really have a big problem with the term removed, because it insinuates they were taken out.
There was a time.
There was a time, but in modern day, like, fathers are not being removed.
They're not being.
You're actively leaving.
They're going to buy milk.
You're going to buy milk and you're not returning. And I just think it's mad that you can like consistently go on platforms and talk about the importance of, two parent households and black men staying and women being this and women being submissive, and you're not living up to any of that stuff. Like, make sure your own house is clean before you're out here preaching to other people. Like, it's just like, listen, that would be the most like epic conversation ever. But
do you think you can have him up?
I think I could, because of some of his views that I do not. Again, I call him my favourite broken clock. So I think he does make some very. Do you know what? I will say this. What I love about Dr. Umar is his ability to retain history. That, like, people like that can retain information about history and like dates and and names of like historical figures. Oh my God, I think that's so incredible, and that tells me that you're very well read. But some of his like cultural views on like family and stuff like that, I don't agree with, like hotep shit for the most part. So no, but I think that it would be and I think that a lot of the time he goes on platforms where he isn't challenged. He goes on platforms that are hotep platforms, so they're people that are in awe of him.
So dumb.
Do you know what I mean? So people that are in awe of him so they don't question him because they hang on to his every word. And remember, he's very articulate and he is very smart. But he doesn't go on he goes on very pro-black platforms. So I think that if he came here, like I would definitely like be like, but this doesn't make sense. Like, this is hypocritical. Like, this is blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, he's getting flogged online by his daughter and I can't back it.
The worst deadbeat dad ever in history of Celebrity Kingdom is Brian McKnight.
No,
he's raggedy bastard.
No, he's actually a despicable human.
How can you make such beautiful music and be a raggedy
he is
bastard?
Disgusting. Like, he's actually disgusting. Like, I do not fuck with him at all.
Like, I remember tweeting it years ago. I've always believed this thing. I think some men, I'm not saying all men, some men don't love their kids. They love the woman that they with that gave them the kids. So as soon as they're not with that woman anymore, suddenly the love of that kid kind of goes away.
And that's the perfect example because that's exactly what's happened with him. Because now he's in love with his new wife.
He doesn't want any. He actually said he doesn't want anything to do with his old kids.
And one of them's got his name. One of them's called like Brian McKnight Jr. Yeah. And then there's new wife. He's actually taken on his new wife's children, bought her a car or something.
Yeah, I think it's called one of those new kids, Brian McKnight Jr.
No, he's sick. How can you hate your own children like that?
He's a raggedy bastard.
No, that is really...
He said, no, back to one.
No, that is really
Every time he meets a
disgusting.
new woman that gets pregnant for him, okay, back to one. He's not considering any of those old kids. He is a raggedy.
Yeah, that's really disgusting. To do that so publicly as well. Like, you're not even ashamed. And this is what I hate about when they come out and because it really, really uplifts all the other deadbeats. They feel so seen and they feel so empowered. And it's like, no, we should always shame deadbeats. Like, there should never be a world in which like there's any grey area for them. But Brian McKnight is he's a piece of work. But as for Dr. Umar Johnson, I don't know what he's going to do with this daughter of his because they're going back and forth online. Like, it's father and daughter are going back and forth online.
Jesters for people. Because nobody actually gives
and everyone's like, oh,
they're just laughing at you.
They're like, oh, you guys actually took him seriously as a scholar. I thought that we all thought he was a comedian. Because
people you should take seriously is the new love of my life.
Which is?
Lamont Hill.
Mark Lamont Hill. Yeah, I do love a bit.
It makes me realise that I really fancy. I like smartness.
Yeah, but isn't that a kink?
I really like
what's it called? It's not demisexual. No, it is demisexual.
No, demisexual is not that.
What's the one where you're just attracted to the mind? There's definitely a name for it.
Maybe it is. Right?
Mindy sexual. Brainy sexual. Intellectual sexual.
Intersexual.
Intersexual should be the word.
He is so...
No, he is very brilliant. And, Sapio. That's the one, sapiosexual.
Sapiosexual.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, no, Mark Lamont Hill is so smart. And he's always arguing with racists.
It's a type of sexuality that involves being more attracted to the content of a person's mind than the appearance of their body.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm absolutely CEO pussy, you know?
CEO.
Scholar pussy. Tech pussy.
Tech pussy, yeah.
Tech pussy, yeah, rampant. Nobody is he? Okay, we have to end. It's enough. We must end on tech pussy, yeah. That's it, Hans. Hope this episode was entertaining to you. If it wasn't, we'll try again next week.
Yeah, sorry, exactly. We go again next week.
We go again next week. I've been your girl, Tony T.
And just call me Audrey.
Hey, bye.